Good morning, Marty. How you doing?
Doing great, Joe. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of this again. I'm excited about
Absolutely.
this opportunity.
Always great to co-host with you for sure for the PSA podcast. So today we'll be discussing the business and technology behind industrial material handling, distribution, and integration services. So that said, we're joined by Doug Ritterman, the Vice President of Conveyor Handling Company, also known as CHC, as when we're collaborating with them. So Doug began his sales career in 1999, and he is the third generation to be part of CHC. So providing insight um, and guidance to the entire CHC team, Doug helps the team create industry-leading material handling solutions for their customers. So over the years, he's seen many different challenges that their customer face, and it's because of seeing those challenges and those experiences that he's been able to develop successful solutions that has his firm that he has a firm grasp on the strategies that will best serve their customers' needs. So CHC is a full-line material handling systems integrator, providing custom design solutions for all material handling challenges. They partner with their customers to offer the latest innovative technologies and solutions. From a single item or replacement part to a complete turnkey system, CHC is an industry leader in finding and implementing the right material handling solution, ensuring that it meets or exceeds their customers' expectations. So, wow, hey Doug, how are you doing this morning?
Hey Joe, you looking for a job in sales, by the way?
Sounds that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy, easy. Mike McHale might be listening to this. Easy, you know.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So
Well, Doug, you and I have had some history together for sure over the years. In my prior life with ABB Robotics, we collaborated, and that's where we first started to develop the relationship that we continue to nurture today. So, really appreciate that. Appreciate your team and yourself there at Conveyor Handling Company, and really looking forward to this podcast to learn a little bit more about yourself and also the company and the services that you provide.
it sounds great.
Yeah, so let's just jump right in there and try to peel back the onion on conveyor handling and yourself, right? So, third generation, business owner, involved in the company. So, what made you get involved with conveyor handling as getting out of college or school and saying, hey, I want to get into sales and in the industry here of material handling, distribution, and keep this generational business moving forward. What was the drive there?
Yeah, no. So obviously, grew up around the company. It's always been a part of my life. In one way or another, being around the company, growing up with my folks, my grandparents, my grandfather, starting the company, my folks and aunt and uncle, then took over the company after he retired, and so it's just been an integral part of, of our family, of our daily life. Working in the shop in high school, sorting nuts and bolts, and then going out and working in the field with our installation team in the summers during high school, getting into sales in college. And then as you get older, you kind of have to find your own way. And so you say, well, maybe I want to go do something else. And I think you have to, fortunately I had the opportunity to do that. And but the company had, it lured, I don't want to say lured me back, but it kind of has a gravity where because it's such an important part of my life and my family. It's something that I then had the interest to get involved with. After I had those other experience in other businesses, in other industries. For me, it was finance and commercial real estate. But really sales was kind of where I started after college. So getting involved with those industries, in a sales role. Kind of honing my sales skills, then I wanted to get involved with the company, in that role. So that's kind of where I came into the company, I want to say it's been, I don't know, maybe 12 years ago at this point, in a, as a sales engineer in a sales role. And that's kind of led me to where I am today.
Okay. So you didn't start with the company right out of college. You decided to go other avenues and explore other ways to enter the working force, right?
That's
So
right. That's right.
finance
Yeah,
and
no,
real
I mean,
estate, huh?
and I think that's, I mean, at least for me, I think it was a very important thing that I needed to do for myself. And I think having those other experiences in those other industries gave me a different perspective, different set of experiences, being involved with other people's companies. I worked for a couple of other small businesses, and so seeing how those owners ran their businesses and how they ran them well, how they ran them differently, and being able to bring those experiences here to me now in my role, kind of running this business, and learning from those experiences, trying to apply some of those successes, things that I saw them do that were successful. Everybody has a different way of doing things. You have to do it the way that works for you. That's going to be the right fit, and that's kind of how what we do for our customers with our systems. It has to be we work with the leading manufacturers in the industry as an independent systems integrator, and that way we are able to provide the solution that is truly the best fit for our customers. So I think there's a lot of similarities with how I need to run the business that's the best fit for me, and in the same way we are providing solutions that are the best fit for our customers.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the longevity of the company. So again, you're in the third generation. How did conveyor handling actually get started in the industry? Was it truly what you're doing today, or has it evolved over the years?
It's definitely evolved over the years. My grandfather, he was an engineer out of college, and he went to work for one of the conveyor manufacturers at the time, Rapistan, as one of their engineers, and he would accompany the salesman to the customer's facility. He would do the drawing, he would put together the pricing, and then the salesman would go out and hopefully win the job, and then he would be involved with some of the detail engineering and engineering after the order. And so then he over the years he gained a lot of experience doing that, and then he went to work for another distributor. He was involved with sales. He wanted to get into sales at that point, so he was very successful in that regard, and built up his book of customers. And one of the other conveyor manufacturers, I think the story was their distributor, the owner of their distributor in Baltimore, passed away. He had a falling out. My grandfather had a falling out with his current employer, and so then decided this was the right time to then go out and hang his own shingle, so to speak. So he did that, and we started out his own company, working out of his garage, really doing everything at that point. It was just him, and then his first employee was my dad, actually. And my dad would do a lot of the installation work. So they would go out and he would meet with the customer. He would design the system, quote it, win the job, and then my dad would lead the installation team with other subcontractor or employees at the time, and then slowly over time built up that business. And then he brought in my uncle to help with sales. And so my dad kind of doing the operations installation, my uncle helping with sales, and then my mom and my aunt then came on board, a few years after that. And then slowly over time, they added some more installation technicians. They added some more administrative people. Eventually, he needed to move out of the house, so then he bought a building and then put up a small warehouse. The building was a house a few miles up the road here, and they converted that into an office. They built a small metal building as the warehouse behind that.
Oh, wow.
And then they over the years they renovated and expanded that, and eventually outgrew it. And then we moved into our current facility here. We've got about 30,000 square foot building here with our office and our warehouse in Elkridge, Maryland, where we still are today. We moved here in I believe 1996, I think it was. So, but yeah, so it's been an evolution over time. We're a pretty conservative company, kind of slow and steady, wins the race approach. We like to make sure that we don't get out too far over our skis. We our employees rely on us. We have employees that have been with us for 4+ decades in several
Wow.
cases.
Wow.
And a lot that aren't too far behind that, that have really been with us over the years, that have grown with us over the years, that have been moved, promoted up into very high leadership roles from, entry level positions when they first started decades ago. And so it's very important to us.
Mm-hmm.
The trust that they put in us to make sure that we run this company well. And then we can continue to do that into the future.
Wow. So that speaks volumes, I would imagine, of the company culture and how that's been, was established and continues to evolve and deepen as the company matures over these years, right?
We really try to do that. I mean, we're definitely not a huge company. We're a family-owned company, but we really do try to do things the right way. We try to find a people with good people, good character. That's kind of really where it starts. We try to lead that way, and I think when you have good people, then it really helps create a good culture. It doesn't take long for one person with the wrong attitude to really create a bad environment, and we really try to stay away from that. But hey, we're not perfect. We definitely don't do everything right, but we really try hard to do our best in that regard.
That's fantastic. Marty, what do you think?
I think we should collaborate and write a book with Doug about what he just said. This is recorded, so we can steal everything that he just told us and make it the first part of the book.
Right.
Yeah, great story, Doug. As Joe knows, I'm into the whole culture thing and the development and the education of the leadership and management and all that kind of stuff. But back up for a minute. Did your family encourage you to go outside the company for your first opportunity? Did they encourage that, or was
Absolutely not.
okay? I want to know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that maybe that had a lot to do with me, wanting to do my own thing. When you're young like that, you don't want to do what your folks are telling you to do. You want to go the opposite. So I don't know, but that's what I did, and that's my experience, and I feel like for the reasons I described, it was a good thing.
Most of the time, that does work best. My experience
I
has
mean,
been that is the best experience.
and so it's a tough, it can go both ways. I could see. I mean, if you do that, then you have that many more years in this specific business. But on the other side of that, maybe then at a certain point you say, you know what, I'm burnt out. I'm sick of doing this, or whatever it might be. I don't know. But for me, it was needing to, I guess, have other experiences in my life in business, to see, I knew how this company was. I knew how it was run, and I was maybe curious. I was curious to see what I could do outside the company, maybe proving to myself, that I didn't need to rely on my family's business, for success. That I could do it on my own. I don't know, but
Great experience.
yeah, I had a desire to go and to do something else, to get involved with get started in my sales career in different businesses.
Yeah, and it gives you kind of a fresh perspective, maybe,
Yeah,
different look at it coming in then.
yeah,
So great. So Doug, if an individual one of our listeners wanted to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
sure. You can email Doug at conveyorhandling.com. would probably be the best way.
Okay. And your website is?
www.conveyorhandling.com.
Great. So, so how do you go to market today? What is your value proposition, your business model today?
Yeah. Really, what I would say our value proposition is that we're a large enough company that we can provide cutting edge, leading material handling and storage solutions for our customers, and partnering with the top manufacturers in the material handling industry. We can handle very large, complex systems, many different types of applications across a very wide range of industries. But our company is not so large that we are also able to give our customers the very close attention that they deserve, that these projects deserve. These people, our customers, their jobs are on the line in a lot of cases when they try to execute these projects. That's what we need to make them look good. We need to make them successful. If we make them successful, then we're successful.
Right.
We have a happy customer that wants to continue to work with us into the future. And so really, it doesn't take, we can do the big projects, but it doesn't take the really big projects to get our attention, to get us out there. We also love the small and medium-sized projects. So, and we're also very flexible. We're easy to work with. There's a lot of companies out there that do these big projects, and they're these great big companies, much larger integrators, and so we try to be very easy to work with. There's a lot of things that change throughout a project, from the concept stage all the way through commissioning, through while the break-in period, down the road where you need post-commissioning service, life cycle support, and that's one of the other things that sets us apart, is having a very robust service department. To be able to offer 24/7, 365 emergency and scheduled preventative maintenance service to our customers. So I would say really that's our value proposition that really sets us apart in the industry.
That's great. And for our listeners, there's a distinction, I think, when you talk about integration, right? So PSA is a systems integrator as well, much like conveyor handling. We integrate robotics, some hard automation, controls and stuff like that. So that's like from the robotics integrator. Define an integration or integrator in your sense in the material handling world.
So really, we're not a conveyor manufacturer, we're not a rack manufacturer, we're not a robot manufacturer. Like you guys. What we will do is we provide a solution. So whatever that customer's challenge is, where they need to fit more in the building, they need to get more production through their facility, they need to be able to pick their orders more efficiently. They need to be able to pack their orders more efficiently. Whatever that material handling challenge might be in that production or distribution facility, we are going to then go to the manufacturers in the industry, the conveyor manufacturers, the rack manufacturers, the robot manufacturers, the order picking solution manufacturers, so the software company. To be able to design a system, we're going to design the path of that conveyor system, what that robot cell needs to look like, that pallet handling system after the pallets are built, to feed it to the stretcher. We're going to design the layout of that system, and then what needs to be included from the different material handling equipment manufacturers. What conveyor components, what rack components, whether it's pallet rack, pushback rack, flow rack, if it needs a pick to light solution, if robot cells, and then make sure that we use the relevant product specifications. Obviously, the weight of the product, the size of the product, to make sure all that's going to work properly, and then we're going to obviously we're going to implement that solution. So we're going to purchase all these components from the different manufacturers, and then we're going to do the mechanical installation. in the facility of this equipment. We're going to do the electrical wiring. We're going to install the control system, the control panel and the PLC programming behind that. We're going to bring in the software company to integrate whatever WCS software or other software that's needed for scales, print and apply, scanning, etc., to be able to put together a turnkey solution for the customer, and we will manage that. The best way I can describe it is almost like a general contractor, so to speak. So we are going to supply all the material and labor that's required and manage the project during the execution stage, and then through the commissioning and acceptance period with the customer.
Right. So I would imagine then, because you kind of have a lot going on under that umbrella, as you say, like as a general contractor, so to speak. So I really think, it sounds like partnerships would be pretty important to you as well, having trusted partners in your network.
Without question. And fortunately, we have a number of partners in the industry. That I mentioned, we work with the leading manufacturers, but going back decades to when our company first started, we still have some of these relationships with these different manufacturers that we established, at when our company first started, and then that we established over the years. And so we work, obviously we work with somebody different at that company than when our company first started,
right,
but and that company was probably acquired or merged with another company or has a different name, but it's still that kind of that same legacy. A manufacturer that we're purchasing, whether it's conveyor or rack or whatever it is, the different subcontractors that we use, we rely on them. We have many different projects that we've done, and we build on those experiences, and so then we can bring that to the next one. That expertise, we know what not to do. We know what manufacturer of what type of equipment we need for a specific application. Whether it's a stainless steel washdown food and beverage, or whether it's a very heavy industrial chemical type application. We know which manufacturer is going to be right for that particular application based on our previous experiences over the years. Hey, maybe one didn't go so great, and we don't want to do that again. Like I said, so you get better over time. But our manufacturers, the partners that we work with, they also have other integrators like ourselves that they work with, and so they have a whole a different set of experiences and applications that they've been involved with. And so we'll go to them and with the particular application, describe it. We may think that maybe their whatever model of conveyor is best for it. They may say, what, we actually did this before, and it's not. We need to do something different. Or what, sorry, we're not the right fit for this. And we rely on them, and so that's really helped us over the years to be able to bring in our engineering expertise and rely on their engineering expertise, and to be able to provide a successful result for our customers. And again, not just with the manufacturers, but with our subcontractors. We have our own installation department, our own installation technicians. We use subcontractors for electrical wiring. We do some of our own controls. We also rely on subcontractors for our larger control systems. And having those long-standing relationships with those companies, getting through these projects, things change, problems pop up. It's going to happen. It's inevitable, and you may not know what it's going to be, but there's going to be something, and you need to know that you can count when those bombs are dropping. You've got people in the trenches that are going to have your back, and that are going to stay with you. They're going to stick it out, and even when the going gets tough, they're going to stick it out, and they're going to do the right thing, and they're going to they're going to make it work. And that's our approach. That's sometimes we run into these challenges on these installations, just like anybody else does. And if anybody tells you they don't, they're flat out lying. But you have to stick it out. You have to get through it, and you have to get the right result for your customer. They're relying on us to do this, they're relying on us to be the industry experts. And so, if we made a mistake or if something popped up unexpectedly, you just have to work through it. And we need to rely on our partners to be able to be there with us through those challenges and get to the other side. And you know
Sure.
what that does is it just strengthens that relationship that you have with them. And it's, it means those conversations aren't all pleasant. You got to have those uncomfortable conversations, and having those long relationships and that comfort level with them allow you to have those conversations, maybe to be more open and transparent with each other and more frank at times.
Yeah.
And to be able to have productive discussions and to figure out what the solution is going to be to be able to get that result. And so it's just so important to have those relationships for all those reasons.
Great. Marty, anything on your mind?
Well, I think one of the notes that you sent me is, and I'd like to know, how do you've touched on it, you have relationships, but do you have a structured way of going to market? For instance, do you go to trade shows? Do you have a direct mail list? Do you use social media, et cetera, et cetera? How do you go to market? Obviously, you've had some success. How do you do that?
Yeah, no, so we have a team of 10 sales engineers, outside sales engineers, who cover a different territory, really kind of boots on the ground, up and down, let's call it, mid-Atlantic up to the Northeast, down to the Southeast. So, kind of in this, I'll say regionally, we have a boots on the ground in those areas. But we also have a lot of customers that we have long-standing relationships with. Fortunately, they've been with us for many years, just like the manufacturers. Obviously, it started with the customers, and again the same story. They've been with us for many years, decades. Different people now, different companies, but maybe the same building or whatever it might be. And they're in different parts of the country. Maybe they had a facility here, and then they had a different. They were maybe building another building in a different state, or had another project at another facility across the country. So our customers have taken us all over the country.
Yeah.
So really, I'd say the core is our team of sales engineers who are working with their customers in their territory. They're out looking for a new business, looking for customers that need help solving these challenges, and seeing how we can help new customers in their region. But then we also do all those other things that you have to do. We have an outstanding web presence, search engine optimization. We get a ton of opportunities that people that come to our website, social media. Heather, our director of marketing, does a fantastic job.
She does.
Making sure that we are posting to all the social media platforms regularly with interesting content, informative content. We haven't graduated the podcast yet. So
Next.
but maybe one day we'll get there. But
Yeah.
again, like I said, we're slow and steady. So yes, digital. We do a whole lot of that. So I would say it's sort of the old fashioned boots on the ground. Roll up your sleeves. A sales team out there working with our customers. We have a lot of existing relationships that we've established that come back to us.
Right, referrals.
For other projects. And yes, we do the industry trade shows. The Modex. We also do a regional one in a Pack Expo East in Philadelphia. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah, so I guess I would be remiss, Marty, if I didn't say that we are a partner as well to Conveyor Handling. And we appreciate that relationship that we have with them, and having the ability to work with their sales team. It's been it's a lot of fun. He's got a real good team there. Matter of fact, I was on the phone with him just the other day talking about a potential application. So, yeah, they're very good about reaching out to us. They're very knowledgeable. They handle their customers really well. They are a great partner to have. Both as a potential customer for Conveyor Handling or as an actual vendor for us as well. So, yeah, thank you for that, Doug.
No, I mean, I think that's something interesting to mention too, is that these relationships, they go different ways. It's not just all vendor customer. We're buying from a manufacturer. Just like you guys, we purchase robot cells from you for our systems, and you purchase conveyors from us for your systems. And maybe sometimes it's just conveyor, or maybe it's conveyor and installation labor, or maybe just wiring, and you're doing the controls, or maybe we're going to do the controls. So there's a lot of ways that we can all work together, and I think that goes back to the relationships and how important those are. And in this industry, it's a very small world. People once they get involved in this industry, they tend to stay. It takes a long time to get established, to gain that experience that makes you successful and effective in this industry. And so then I think it probably, just like any industry, if you want to move, you're going to stay in the same industry. You have that product knowledge and subject matter, relevant experience. So you never know where somebody's going to end up. You never know who you might end up working with in the future. You never know how you may need to rely on somebody in the future, or maybe somebody's going to need to rely on you in the future. So I think it just stresses the importance of relationships, and I think not just in this industry, but I mean that it goes in life too. Same idea. So
yeah. So what you said earlier, you guys represent leading manufacturers and technology. Are you looking into any advanced technology solutions that are out there today? Maybe anything, you dipping your toe into AI, or maybe in the simpler form like AGVs into the distribution centers? Are you looking into any of this newer style technologies that are out there in the material handling and software world?
Absolutely. Now, I will say, when you go to the trade shows, you see a whole lot of cutting edge things, like dog robots, and whatever, all these kind of crazy things that don't necessarily provide a solution, to your customer who's trying to find a way to organize their warehouse better, to get more product out the door. But a lot of our manufacturers are doing that. For instance, there are customers who don't want to apply a barcode label to their cases because they have graphics and artwork from the different manufacturers that in this case it's going to be wine producers. They put their artwork on the full case of wine, for instance. And the traditional way of sorting cases of wine and spirits is to put a barcode label on it, and then the scanner is going to read the barcode to know when to release a lane at a merge, or to divert at a sorter. But this particular customer doesn't want to cover up the artwork on these cases of it's actually beer and wine. So some of the technology that's available now has made it possible to be able to recognize the artwork on the case, the size of the case, through their algorithms, to be able to identify that case, what that product is, that particular SKU, without a barcode label, and to be able to do the same thing, to recognize that, stop that lane, start that lane, release that lane, divert that case to which loading door to get onto the right truck. So that's just one example.
Sure.
But yes, to answer your question, yes, the different manufacturers that we work with for the different types of material handling solutions, they are implementing and integrating a lot of this leading edge technology. And so that is very important for us to know what's out there, to know, and it's not going to be, you're not going to maybe use the one that's being beta tested, at your best customers, a really big project, what doesn't have all the bugs worked out, obviously, but we need to know what's out there, how it's going to be able to help our customers, how we can better help our customers, and to then be able to be aware of these technologies, to be able to offer them to our customers at the appropriate time when they are really, ready for prime time.
Sure.
And so it's important for us to know that they're available and know when they're actually ready to be able to put in place in industry. Not that's something that has I think really served us well. Is not to get ahead of ourselves. There have been manufacturers who have come out with something new that provides a solution, and based on our experience for whatever that situation was, I think we wanted to, we were conservative, and we said, you know what, we don't think we're ready to actually put this in place in our customer's facility yet, because we don't want to get into that situation where there are problems down the line and it's actually a bigger problem than they were trying to solve.
Right.
And so I think that's something that can be tough to do, because we're not sitting here programming these algorithms. We're relying on our partners and their staff and their expertise to be able to do that. But it's just more of an awareness of what's going on in the industry, and then working with our partners to help us implement the leading solutions at the right time.
Great. Now, this has been a great discussion, Doug. I really, really appreciate it once again. So we're going to wrap it up here in just a moment. So what I'd like to do when we close is talk about a little bit of a success story. Do you have one in mind that maybe a recent success that you guys had and that you're willing to share with us?
I think I do, and it's one that we worked very hard and very long on together, and we did get an outstanding result. And it was for one of the country's top pork producers. They opened up a new plant adjacent to an existing plant, and they needed a new secondary packaging automation system. So all of the stainless steel conveyor that takes the pork products, ham, sausage, from the production side of the wall, where it's getting put into that clear plastic that you see when it's in the grocery store. When it comes through the wall, then it's being fed to another packaging system where they put it into a box that needs to get palletized and loaded onto a truck to go to restaurants, grocery stores, et cetera, food service distributors, et cetera. So it was like I said, the stainless steel conveyor that product is on when it comes through the wall. It was then the packaging equipment at the pack stations to erect and feed the empty boxes from the mezzanine level upstairs down to the pack stations on nine different production lines. You had this same line, the same design 9 different times for 9 lines. And so you had the empty boxes coming down to the pack station. You had the product coming in on the middle conveyor line. You had the lower line as the takeaway line. So the packer would take the product, take the empty box off the upper line, take the product off the middle line, put it into the box, pull the flaps down, push it onto the lower line. It went through an automatic case sealer. It then got fed onto a case weigh label reject unit, where that case was weighed. A product label was applied to that with the weight of the case. We scanned it to verify it had the correct label, and it was then would get rejected if it was the wrong label or if it was out of weight. And then this is where PSA come into play. Sort of the highlight of the system were the robotic palletizing cells. So we had the empty pallet dispenser to feed the empty pallet into place. We had a slip sheet corral where the robot would then automatically pick up a slip sheet, put it onto that empty pallet. The case, the packed sealed case with the label on it, would be fed into the robot cell. That those cases would be sequenced and organized to be able to be picked up, whether 1, 2, or 3 at a time, based on the 75 different pallet patterns for the different size cases that were involved here. And so PSA was able to organize all those patterns and all that data to be able to program those patterns so we could achieve the in some cases 30 cases per minute rate that we needed to.
That was pretty aggressive.
So that was a very challenging application that they were outstanding with your team, Joe. And so once those cases were picked up by the robot, they would get placed onto that on top of the slip sheet, which was on the pallet, the empty pallet. They would build the cases, and then that a finished pallet would then get discharged on the pallet conveyor into a pickup zone where a forklift would come pick it up. They would print a pallet label, apply that to the side of the pallet, and they would take that to an automatic stretch wrapper. So your team was excellent to work with. Again, challenge. We faced a lot of challenges. They popped up unexpectedly all throughout, just as on any project. This one, just by its large nature, was, there were other challenges that were different than on other projects, but I think that we had that relationship, from working together in prior years that we brought into that, which helped us through it, which gave us that level of confidence and trust in each other to be able to work through those challenges, come up with solutions. Sometimes maybe it was a solution that you guys were facing, and maybe we helped with, and sometimes a solution we were facing and you guys helped. It went both ways. We worked together, and we had a great result of that project. So thank you guys.
Yeah, and just to note, right, that won Food Engineering Facility of the Year, correct?
It did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's pretty exciting for both of our companies to be a part of that, right?
It was, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Doug, once again, this has been fantastic, and just let our listeners know again, how can they get a hold of you?
Doug at conveyorhandling.com, and again, our company website is www.conveyorhandling.com.
Marty, is there anything else you'd like to share? Or
No, this was solid. I love the family part of it a lot, and really an educational process for me. So I appreciate it, Doug.
Awesome.
Thank you for the opportunity, guys.
You bet. Thanks a bunch. You take care of yourself now.
See you.